Welcome to the second part of the Civic Engagement and Leadership Series, Communicating Your Brand on LinkedIn. This program is a collaboration between Walden University's Career Planning and Development Department and the Office of Civic Engagement and Leadership. We thank you again for joining us. Before I hand it over to our presenters, I want to review some instructions for navigating and participating in this session. Audio is muted and video sharing is not available for participants. Feel free to resize or move any of the session content tools around your screen. Enter your questions for the presenters in the Ask Questions section, and we will share your questions as time allows. The attendee chat will also be available throughout this session. Access the paperclip icon for a PDF of the presentation and download our links and resources from the related content area. If any of the tool windows disappear, you may access the toolbar at the bottom of your screen to open it again. As a reminder, this webinar is being recorded and is available on demand through the same link you used to register for the session. Once the session concludes, we gladly welcome your webinar survey and you will see that pop up. I will now turn it over to Dr. Rochelle Gilbert.
Greetings, everyone. As she said, I am Dr. Rowe, Associate Vice Provost for the Office of Civic Engagement and Leadership. Welcome to part 2 of our leadership series, where we are excited to introduce Communicating Your Brand on LinkedIn. This series is designed to empower emerging and established leaders to embrace their unique stories, amplify their voices, and lead with authenticity. At Walden, we believe leadership is lived both inside and outside the classroom. That's why we create experiences like this, focused on equipping you with tools, insight, and confidence to lead with purpose. Likewise, in the Office of Civic Engagement and Leadership, our mission is here. We believe that leadership begins with self-awareness, and personal branding is a powerful tool to define how your values, your strengths, and your passions align with your professional and civic goals. Whether you're navigating your next career move, seeking to grow your influence, or aiming to inspire change in your community, your personal brand is your leadership signature. Now, our mission is very simple, as well as our vision. We're dedicated to creating impactful and transformative experiences for both our students and alumni, empowering them to make a difference in the broader community. Our vision is to equip you with the skills that you need to become active initiators of change, devoted leaders, and participatory citizens. And we do this through informed and open-minded engagement and by fostering a strong spirit of teamwork, ensuring that you're ready to collaborate, to lead, and create positive social change. Our vision is to empower you as students, as graduates, as people who are in the community partnering with us to be change makers, to be leaders, and to be engaged citizens through teamwork and open-minded engagement. So what, you may ask? Well, if you see our here, you'll see that through an expanded university leadership reach, we want to connect with you. We're connecting with our leaders, with our faculty, with our staff, students, prospects, and external stakeholders through civic engagement. In collaboration with the Center for Social Change, we are driving the mission of social change within our scholar practitioner model. And lastly, strategic alignment. We focus on strengthening connections between institutional goals, leadership development, and community-focused outcomes. So with that said, we know that tonight's experience is going to be one that you'll never forget. So now Dr. Gladys Peters will introduce our speakers for the evening.
Thank you, Dr. Rose. Thank you, thank you, thank you so very much. And we're so excited to have each and every one of you with us. At this time, I would like to introduce our main presenter for today, Ms. Dina Bergen. Dina is the manager of Walden's University Department of Career Planning and Development. And she is also at this time joining us is also Dr. Frederica Doctor, who is a Walden PhD in public policy and administration, and she holds a PhD in education from Walden University. With us, we also have Ms. Denise Pranke, who is a specialist career advisor in the Department of Career Planning and Development. And Denise will be hosting a breakout room activity for us. So we invite you to read their full bios in your own in its own 24 module. There's just so much to get to tonight, and we want for you to enjoy this experience. We invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy tonight's session. Dina, I'm going to hand it over to you now.
Thank you, Dr. Peters, and hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here today. For those of you who are new to career planning and development, I do want to introduce our mission to get us started. We support both students and alumni in developing workplace skills to thrive as professionals and social change agents in organizations and communities. And we are here to support you during the pursuit of your Walden degree and after graduation. And although we are specifically focusing on communicating your brand on LinkedIn during today's program, we do want you to know that we have a multitude of career-related resources and offerings that are available on our website to help you manage your career. And now that you know a little bit about career planning and development, let's dive into our topic by reviewing the agenda. During the next 50 minutes or so, you'll learn how to strengthen your personal brand on LinkedIn. And you'll also engage in an interactive activity where we will have an opportunity to enhance your LinkedIn headline with civic engagement, leadership, and social impact activities. Together, we will explore strategies to communicate your brand and build connections. And throughout the program, you will also hear from civic engagement leaders. And of course, we'll have some time to answer your questions. And for those of you who attended our last program, you may be already somewhat familiar with personal branding, but we know that for some of you, this is your first session. So let's start with the basics. What is a personal brand? According to the website personalbrand.com, a personal brand is a widely recognized and largely uniform perception or impression of an individual based on their experience, expertise, their competencies, actions, or achievements within a community, industry, or the marketplace at large. In other words, your personal brand is how others perceive you and the value you present to others. During this 3-part webinar series, we are approaching personal branding through the lens of civic engagement and leadership, emphasizing those aspects of your brand that impact individuals, communities, and society at large. This session is specifically dedicated to communicating your brand using LinkedIn. So you might wonder, why did we choose LinkedIn over other social media sites? Although there are many social media sites out there, including Facebook, Instagram, and others, we are looking specifically at LinkedIn because it is the largest professional networking site out there. It has over 1 billion members in 200 countries. It is also designed to be used strictly for professional networking. Also, 67 plus million companies and over 136,000 schools have LinkedIn accounts, including Walden University. For those of you who are job searching or preparing for a job search in the future, approximately 97% of HR and staffing professionals also use LinkedIn in their recruiting efforts. And for all of these reasons, having a strong professional brand on LinkedIn, this is vital to your professional and personal career growth, and also to the impact that you make as a civic engagement leader. Communicating your brand on LinkedIn takes some prior preparation. So before enhancing your LinkedIn profile, you want to take some time to look inward at your own personality, your interests, your skills, and your values, and also reflect on your passion and your purpose. How do you want to make an impact in the world as a civic engagement leader? Also, take some time to take an inventory of your civic engagement leadership and social impact skills and activities in order to then incorporate them right into your LinkedIn profile. And for additional tips, watch the first part of the Civic Engagement Series, Personal Branding for Leaders. There is a link in your On24 related content module to the on-demand recording that you can watch at your convenience. And as you prepare to communicate your brand, consider your multiple roles as a civic engagement leader. Most of us have multiple roles as a part of our academic, professional, and even personal identities. And here are a few common roles that civic engagement leaders may hold, such as volunteer or organizer, speaker, mentor, advocate, president, community leader, facilitator, coach, board member, researcher, change agent, and many others. So let's take a moment and see if our audience has any additional roles that they have personally pursued as a civic engagement leader. Please take a moment and type into the chat. What are some other roles that you have personally pursued as a civic engagement leader? And let's take a moment to see what feedback we get in the chat. Maybe you led an affinity group at work, in the workplace, or maybe you served on a committee and were a committee chair or member, maybe a city council member, an event promoter, a workshop facilitator, maybe for a nonprofit organization. Any others, Kayla, that came into the chat?
Yes, we're seeing business owners, peer coach, charter school board of directors. We're also seeing, thank you so much, Dr. Rowe, for that one. We're seeing some great entries here.
Wonderful. That's great. So think about those multiple roles, and we will be circling back to discuss multiple roles later in this presentation. So jot down some roles that you've held as a civic engagement leader. Next, we will have an exciting opportunity to view the LinkedIn profiles of two very passionate and inspiring civic engagement leaders. Dr. Frederica, Doctor, or as we like to call her, Dr. D, is a Walden alumna who is an emerging civic engagement leader, while Dr. Roe Gilbert is the Associate Vice Provost, and she has held many civic engagement and leadership roles inside and outside of Walden, making her a great example of someone who is an advanced civic engagement leader. With these very brief introductions, I will now navigate to LinkedIn, and I would like to invite Dr. D to highlight the civic engagement roles, skills, and accomplishments that she has included on her LinkedIn profile. So I am going to take a second here and share my screen, and we will look at Dr. D's profile. All right, Dr. D, I'm going to hand it over to you to go over your profile with us.
Well, hello, everyone, and thank you, Ms. Dina, for that introduction. My name is Dr. Frederica Doctor, or you can call me Dr. D, and I'm honored to be here today to share the heart of my personal brand as an emerging civic engagement leader. So as you can see on my LinkedIn, my headline reads Higher Education Researcher, Music and Arts Educator, Public Policy and Nonprofit Strategist, Student Success Advocate, Scholarship Reviewer, and Facilitator. Now, each of these multiple roles reflect a distinct layer of my professional identity, yet they are united by one mission: to use research, creativity, and strategy to inspire access, equity, and meaningful community impact. Now, when we go down a bit further to the About section, in my About section, I intentionally describe my passion for music and the arts, commitment to education policy, dedication to student success and community impact, and the path that shaped me. I began in music education, working with K to 5th grade learners through performance-based and arts-integrated instruction. That creative beginning still informs how I lead through mentorship, program design, and policy advocacy. Over time, I expanded my focus through advanced education, as you heard earlier, by earning dual PhDs, one in education and another in public policy and administration. I also hold a graduate certificate in nonprofit management. These credentials allow me to work at the intersection of education and public service and arts-based civic engagement. My philosophy is simple: leadership should amplify others. I believe in centering learners' identity and building supportive systems and using every tool available, whether that's music, data, policy, and faith, to advance social change. So now we're going to take a look at my volunteer experience. Now, what I value most, though, is putting purpose into action. And that's where my volunteer experience plays a key role. In the voluntary section, I have highlighted several of my volunteering activities. As a Tempo peer mentor at Walden University, I support undergraduate students in self-paced programs, primarily in early childhood education. I guide them through academic planning, motivation, and building professional skills. I see this as a form of civic service, empowering others to navigate their educational journey with clarity and confidence. I also serve as a scholar reviewer for the Empower Fund, ensuring equitable access to funding by evaluating leadership, potential, and need through a mission-focused lens. Additionally, I am the founder and I co-led the Academics for Christ online fellowship group, where I facilitated faith-centered academic discussions that supported graduate students' resilience. That experience was especially meaningful to me because it combined two key pillars of my identity, which is scholarship and my faith. The final section I would like to highlight would be that of my skills. Now, this forms the toolkit of my civic engagement leadership. So I have community outreach, advocacy, training and facilitation, strategic planning, coaching and mentoring, assessment, and program evaluation. Now, these skills are backed by advanced certifications in higher education leadership and management, and organizational research, assessment, and evaluation. And they're continuously shaped through experiences. Now, whether I'm supporting students, evaluating programs, or building partnerships that matter. So my personal brand is about more than titles or credentials. It's about using service, scholarship, and stories to move communities forward. I strive to be a leader who listens deeply, builds bridges, and champions assets and inclusion through every engagement. So civic engagement, is not optional, it is essential. As Dr. Rowe reminds us, it is indeed the active arm of social change. Thank you again, Ms. Dina and the Office of Civic Engagement, and you all for sharing this glimpse into my journey and LinkedIn profile. I look forward to connecting and collaborating and continuing the work of leadership, I should say, that lift others. Thank you again.
Thank you, Dr. D. It's just incredible, the civic engagement activities that you've been involved in, all of the skills that you've highlighted, the way that you added civic engagement skills right to your header and into your about section. So thank you so much for demonstrating that. And I know that you will continue to grow and advance as a civic engagement leader and make a broader impact. And next, I would like to invite Dr. Rowe to also share her LinkedIn profile with us. And Dr. Rowe, would you like to take it from here? And Dr. Rowe, can you hear me okay?
I can. Can you all hear me?
Oh,
and are
yes.
you able to see my screen?
Yes,
Definitely.
Thank you, Dr. Rowe.
Definitely. So what I was sharing is I sat there in awe of the work that's being done by Doctor as well. I was sitting there looking at her profile and thinking about some of the areas in which I can grow and develop, which is one of the goals of tonight. As we review all of the information that will be shared, we hope that the examples that we show are examples that would really propel you into sharing. As we said earlier, I am Dr. Rowe Gilbert, and I'm really a passionate advocate for transformative change through intentional civic engagement, through organizational development, and inclusive leadership. So when I think about civic engagement, it doesn't just sit on the heels of civic engagement itself. It encapsulates leadership, because my career has been dedicated to really uplifting communities, to mentoring emerging leaders, and to guiding institutions into effectual change strategies. And so when I think about the cultural competencies of civic engagement, my first thought is being purpose-driven. As you see here, my header shares that C3 concept. I'm a coach, I'm a consultant, and I'm a counselor. And each of those roles, I ensure that there's some philanthropic component that is embraced throughout. So with the foundation in education and counseling and spiritual resilience, I really bring a holistic approach to every engagement. So as you can tell, as you go through, it shares in my header my title, but it also shares that I'm a transformational leader. I'm a diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging advocate, a change maker. So these are just some terms that capture civic engagement for me. I focus on combining strategic insight, emotional intelligence, and really an uncompromising commitment to social justice in all that I do. So as you look around, you'll see that because of the work that I'm doing, there are certain areas that populate automatically. Tell nonprofits you're interested in getting involved with them in your time. So that's an opportunity for you if you continue to add to your LinkedIn profile. Sometimes these opportunities will populate automatically. If you move down to my About section, you'll see that my mission throughout this section is to empower individuals and organizations to unlock their potential, to catalyze innovation, and to create a sustainable impact through equity-centered practices. So this section represents really the heart of my professional identity. My work sits at the intersection of educational equity, civic engagement, and faith-informed healing. So I support you as an individual or other individuals in really navigating those areas that are probably more complex for others, whether it's social transformation through civic engagement or it is equity-centered practices. So if I look at the skills that are listed here in my About section, you'll see speaking is one of my areas. So inclusive leadership, trauma-informed facilitation, strategic visioning, and making sure that through civic engagement and organizational change, this becomes a passion. My passion is to empower. It's to do more than just respond to change, but it's really to help anticipate change and really shape it to make a difference within the community in which I live and serve. So I do that through supporting and becoming an agent of change through transformation. So as you scroll down, you'll also see some of the services that I provide. Throughout civic engagement, is again, I talked about the C3 piece here, the counseling, the consulting, the coaching, but I added the speaking, the teaching, and the training, because those capitalize on the skill set that I bring to the table, but it also helps to manifest a thought process of thought leadership. Where do we go from here? I would like to take you a little bit deeper as well. You'll see some features here, but I'll scroll back up to my articles section. If you look here, you'll see the analytics, the about, and then the services, and then we have featured. So there's some activity. Under the articles section, you'll see that I've captured articles that really focus on civic engagement. For example, the one here, Beyond the Rhetoric, Civic Engagement, Leadership, and the Work of Social Change. It focuses on civic engagement beyond volunteering, leadership as positional and purposeful, and then social change, not optional, but essential. And the question to my readers is, so what? What does this mean to you? And as you scroll to the bottom, you'll see the answer to the so what is you. So again, that's an area of social change where we focus specifically on ensuring that we capture the content, the concepts, and the commitment of social change and civic engagement. So as I scroll a little bit quickly, I'll scroll down to my volunteerism section, and you'll see that if you are a part of any of the organizations such as Divine Nine organization, if you have worked within the United Way, or you're a community volunteer in any way, or even if you work within your church, as Dr. communicated, spiritual care and wellness is very important to me. My spiritual pillar is one that I make sure that I capture throughout. So I work not only with Delta Sigma Theta, as you saw, but community-based coalitions, board leadership, faith-based outreach. And here you can actually discuss what those organizations are and tell about how you communicate and collaborate within your roles in those organizations. So again, there's a lot more that I can share, but I just appreciate that you all have allowed me to take some time to share my profile, and hope that through this profile, you too can take some of the examples that we've shown, whether it's our skills that are listed here, recommendations from other leaders. As you can see from my recommendations, servant leader, that's the civic engagement component that's captured. Through the coursework that I've taught, you'll see civic engagement just interwoven into that, as well as the organization and my areas of interest. At the bottom, it presents the causes, economic empowerment, civic engagement, education, health, human rights, civic engagement, and poverty alleviation. All are part of civic engagement. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Dina to share a little bit more.
Thank you, Dr. Rowe. You have been an inspiration for me personally for so many years at Walden. And I know that our audience is also inspired by your passion and commitment to social change and civic engagement. And there are so many civic engagement activities that you just showed us. So I hope it inspires everybody to think about civic engagement and taking that next step. Next, I would like to go over a few LinkedIn basics to help our audience enhance their LinkedIn profiles. And we'll go over the LinkedIn basics fairly quickly, but let's take a brief look at the photo and background, headline, the about section, experience, volunteering, education, licenses and certifications, And last, but definitely not least, the skills section. So let's start by looking at the photo, background, and headline. Taking a closer look at Dr. Rowe's photo, you can see that her photo conveys a strong professional image on LinkedIn. She's looking straight at the camera. She's dressed in business attire and exudes a very polished professional look. She's also using an eye-catching custom background to highlight aspects of her brand as a coach, consultant, and counselor, the 3 C's that she mentioned. And most importantly, she has highlighted her multiple roles in her headline. Remember that the headline is one of the most visible and essential elements of your LinkedIn profile, as it quickly lets your network know what your brand is. So going beyond your job title and incorporating other multiple roles. And remember to also expand on your personal brand in your About section. And here are a few tips to get you started using Dr. Rowe's profile as an example. As you create your About section, mention your multiple roles, along with your purpose and impact in that first paragraph. Why do you do the work that you do as a civic engagement leader? And then in the following paragraphs, expand on your areas of expertise, remembering to include keywords, accomplishments, and achievements related to civic engagement and leadership activities. And finally, highlight your most relevant and impactful specialty areas and skills. Of course, there are many other ways to organize your About section, but this can help you get started. Now let's move on to experience and volunteering sections, and let's take a look at those. We generally recommend going back 10-15 years when adding entries to your experience section. You always want to include your title, organization, and dates of employment, and consider using some of the accomplishment statements from your resume and adding them to this section. If you have been involved in civic engagement activities at your job, such as maybe volunteering or organizing a volunteer event or hosting a webinar related to civic engagement, or even leading an affinity group, you can add them to this section. And you can also add work products, presentations, and other rich media such as videos, PDFs of PowerPoints, a link to a blog if you have a blog, or a professional website, especially if you're, let's say, a consultant, to make your experience section more robust. And also LinkedIn has a separate section to list volunteer roles and activities. Using Dr. D's profile as an example here, I want to specifically mention that you are able to list volunteer roles and then add bullet points with strong accomplishment statements related to the specific impact and contributions that you've made in those roles. So this is a great way to highlight your volunteer roles. And here you can see some of the powerful contributions that Dr. D had made through her volunteer and volunteering roles. We also encourage you to list your involvement in student and alumni organizations, groups, or societies, and you can do that in your education section. As you can see here, along with your academic degrees, activities and societies can be listed here. And in this case, there is a listing of the National Society of Leadership and Success, NSLS, which is a very popular student organization at Walden. But of course, there are many other organizations that you can join. And Dr. Rowe, would you like to tell us about Walden University's student organizations?
Sure, definitely. I'll share a little bit more about the organizations. We are always excited for students to join our organizations, and we like to remind students that once a member, many of our organizations are continuing after graduation. so you can still be a part of them after graduation. As you can see on the list here, we have professional organizations as well as honor society, affinity groups, and associations that are listed here. Based on your particular discipline area, then honor societies in criminal justice, Alpha Phi Sigma, may be an opportunity for you. Actually, we want to encourage you to make sure you check your Walden portal, because we will have a membership drive for many of these organizations within the next couple of months. In addition to our honor societies and our professional organizations, I talked a little bit about our affinity groups. We have the Divine Nine Alliance, if you're a member of a Divine Nine organization, LGBTQ plus Pride Group, Multicultural International Group. We also have a new group, the Sisterhood Tapestry Circle, that is a part of our counseling group. Anywhere you see that maybe we have a missing link, we invite you as our students and alumni to share with us your ideas, because maybe there's a group out here that you even want to start. So we're always looking for opportunities to better serve our students. So again, that is a component of our civic engagement. We're not only serving the communities outside in which we live and work, we're serving communities right here in our Walden family. So with that, if you have any questions, always you can post them in the chat, or you can send us an email. The link here to student orgs is there, and we'll post that in the chat, as well as our website link if you want to find out more about our professional organizations, honor societies, and affinity groups.
Thank you, Dr. Rowe. There are so many ways to get involved. And I do want to mention that for those of you who are Walden graduates and alumni, to join the Walden community. The Walden Association has so many, Alumni Association, I should say, has so many ways that you can also get involved. And what a great way to build your brand as a civic engagement leader. And now let's go on to licenses and certifications. If you've earned any licenses or certifications in areas related to civic engagement, we do encourage you to add them to the section. And here you can see 2 examples of earned certifications related to helping others uncover their personality traits and strengths. And there are many other certifications, of course, out there that you can earn, and add them to this section. And finally, the last LinkedIn profile section we'd like to highlight is the skills section. Skills First allows you to highlight your skills related to civic engagement and leadership and other related skills. In this section, you want to add several key skills to build your brand as a civic engagement leader, and your connections can also then endorse you for those skills. You can also reorder your skills in order of importance and move skills that highlight the social impact aspects of your brand higher up on the list. And finally, you can choose to de-emphasize certain skills that are no longer relevant to your future goals by placing them at the end of your skills list, or even removing them altogether. So LinkedIn makes it really easy to take control of your skills and really emphasize those that you want others to know that you have and that are really a part of your brand. And if you're wondering which skills you could add to your skills section, here is a great list to get you started. Consider the skills you're building through your civic engagement and leadership roles, such as public speaking or cultural awareness, executive presence. That's a great one to feature. Specific technology skills that you are gaining through your activities, organizational skills, project management skills, and so many others. And then take some time to rank your skills in order of importance. And then add those skills to your LinkedIn profile skills section in that particular order. Okay, hopefully you now have a stronger grasp on how to strengthen your LinkedIn profile through the lens of civic engagement and leadership. Now it's time to put the LinkedIn branding tips that we discussed earlier into action. So next, for the next few minutes, I should say, we are going to lead you through an activity to help you start enhancing your LinkedIn presence as a civic engagement leader. We are specifically going to focus on your LinkedIn headline, as it is one of the most important pieces of your profile, and it is used to entice others in your network to learn more about you. There are three primary ways that you can organize your LinkedIn headline. You can either, number one, highlight multiple roles that you've held or are currently holding, or number two, share your top areas of expertise. And the final option is to create a purpose-driven brand statement. Let's take a look at examples of all three, so then you can decide how to best organize your headline. If you are someone with expertise in several civic engagement and leadership roles and have held multiple roles, you can organize your LinkedIn headline by highlighting 3 to 5 important roles that you've held or currently hold. So think back to the multiple roles activity we introduced at the beginning of the program to help you choose a few roles to highlight. And I know some of you have already done this in the chat, which is great. But here's one example: community advocate, nonprofit board member, youth mentor, public speaker, event organizer. And then the second way that you may select to organize your headline is to share several areas of expertise instead of actual roles. So here's an example of a headline with 5 areas of expertise: advocacy, nonprofit leadership, youth mentorship, public speaking, and event organization. And finally, for those of you who are already have a clear purpose or a mission and have devoted substantial effort to making a difference in a specific area, a purpose-driven brand statement may be the best way to organize your headline. Here's an example of what a purpose-driven brand statement may look like. Nonprofit leader and builder of transformative, inclusive, and inspiring mentoring programs that empower youth to become engaged citizens and community action leaders. No matter which of these 3 formats you ultimately decide to use, remember that LinkedIn allows a maximum of 220 characters for the headline. So every word needs to make an impact. And now that you have several ideas of how to build or enhance your LinkedIn headline, it's time for our breakout activity. So during the next 10 minutes, we will break out into small groups and work on creating or strengthening your LinkedIn headline with civic engagement and leadership activities. The breakout rooms will not be recorded, so don't be shy to share your headline with others in the chat. And Kayla, I will now hand it over to you to discuss how to locate and join the breakout rooms.
Thank you, Dina. On the right side of your screen, you will see the option to join the breakout rooms. We ask that everyone join breakout room 1. If you do not see the breakout room area on your screen, you can locate it in your toolbar. It is purple with 5 small boxes. So either will take you to the option of selecting breakout room 1. We'll see you all
See you in the room. Kayla, can you hear me? Hi, Kayla, can you hear me? Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, and we can direct them to come back to the breakout rooms.
Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. We're just waiting for the remainder of our team to rejoin, and we will wrap up today's session.
Information. This session will run a few minutes over just because of the wonderful conversations here. But thank you, everyone. And after strengthening your LinkedIn profile, the next step is to communicate your brand. So, Kayla, let's look at some ways to establish your brand on LinkedIn. And here are some ideas: networking with thought leaders, connecting with the Walden community, joining LinkedIn groups, sharing posts and events, self-publishing an article like Dr. Rowe demonstrated earlier, recommending others for their skills, and also taking your networking effort online. And in order to establish your brand, we have so many resources and offerings that are available to you. So let's take a look at those next. And if you are looking to learn more, the Career Planning and Development website has an entire networking tab. It has our signature Launching with LinkedIn video to help you maximize your LinkedIn activities. There's a short Take Your Networking Efforts Offline video as well, and access to our new Ask Alums networking tool, which allows students and recent grads to receive career advice from Walden alumni and other ideas for building your network, branding resources, and much more. And there are also wonderful stories on LinkedIn networking and branding on the Career Planning and Development blog. And also, we encourage you to register for our next session, the third part of our series, Communicating Your Brand on Your Resume. There is a link to the registration in your On24 content module. And I know some of you had questions, and hopefully you were able to answer them in the chat. But if you do have any questions, let us know or contact us at careerservices@mail.waldenu.edu. And on the next slide there, you can also see that there are many resources in your On24 content module. Visit our website. We can't stress this enough. We have so many resources for you. You can schedule a one-on-one career advising appointment to work on professional branding, on personal branding on your LinkedIn profile. Also reaching out to us through email and following us on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. And as I mentioned earlier, reading stories on our blog. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Peters to conclude the program.
Thank you, Dina, and thank you everyone for joining us today. We are truly thankful for your participation and for your attendance. And we're going to wrap up today's discussion, and hopefully we will see you, and we look forward to seeing you back with us again on June the 8th as we continue this 3-part series, and it will be our third event, which is Communicating Your Brand on Your Resume. And so we look forward to seeing you then. And if you give one moment, we're going to look for a few more things, but we do want to sincerely thank you from the Office of Civic Engagement and Leadership for this evening, and also for our partners in the Office of Career Planning and Development. We would like to thank our lead presenters today, Ms. Dina Bergen. We would also like to thank our Ms. Denise Pranke, and we would also like to thank Dr. D for participating in today's discussion. And also a special thank you of note goes out to Dr. Ro Gibbert for her leadership and her support of this series. And so we sincerely thank each and every one of you who have made today very special for us. And we look forward for you using these resources to continue to expand your brand on LinkedIn and beyond. And so continue to be change makers. With that, I turn it back over to Kayla.
As always, thank you all for joining us. Please make sure to complete the webinar survey, and that will pop up in just a moment. So once this session concludes, you'll see that pop up where you have the option to click the link, or you can hold up your cell phone and grab that QR code. Both will go to the same location. And again, we would appreciate any feedback you have for us. Thank you all so much for joining, and especially for participating. See you all in the next session.